You are now listening to the Art of Winning show with your host and co-host, Eddie Truck Gordon and Miyoko Taylor, two best-selling authors. Eddie Truck Gordon is New York Emmy award-winning fighter, UFC Ultimate Fighter champion. Miyoko Taylor is a celebrity personal development coach and thought leader. Both have mastered the art of winning. It's never too late to tap into your amazing, and remember, success has no age limit.
Welcome back to another episode of the Art of Winning show. I am super excited. It's Eddie Truck Gordon here. Got my co-host, Mr. Amazing himself, Miyoko Taylor. Taylor, what's going on today, Yoko?
Hey, not much, man. It's a rainy day here in Jersey, but it is all good, bro. All good.
That's it. Rainy day in New York, but we need the rain to enjoy the sunshine. I am super excited about our guest today. This man needs no introduction. I'm not going to steal his shine, but we had Jared on the show today. Jared, what's going on, man? How's everything going for you?
Everything's great, man. How are you?
Listen, I can't complain. I tell everybody that when we got air in our lungs and we're breathing, it's an amazing day. We also have a special guest, Mr. Action Jackson. People probably know him from social media. I think this guy's getting more popular than me. He takes over the stage, so our ratings for this show is going to be off the chart. Only downfall is I'm like the fourth most handsome guy on the show today. It's horrible. I'm in last place. We got Jared, Yoko, and Jackson.
Oh, fine, man.
So,
Jared. Listen, Yoko, you already know we're going to be competing because I'm super excited.
I know, man. I know. We always do this on the show. We go back and forth and we chime in. It's normal. I mean, the audience understands.
Exactly.
But I found Jared on Instagram. I'm always on Instagram utilizing it as a resource to kind of connect with amazing people. And I saw his Instagram page and I pretty much saw, what he's doing with his company, being an entrepreneur, and just his passion for fitness and nutrition. And he just had an overall fun page. So I said, you know what? I got to reach out to this guy because I want to hear his story. And you know how we think, Eddie. I'm a big proponent of knowing that everybody has their own amazing story, their own amazing experience. So I had to get him on the show today, and we usually connect with him when it comes to our guests. So, I mean, that's how it happens. So I'm really excited to have you, Jared. And, we're just going to kind of tip it off with you. And my first question with you is, how did you go from regular Jared to entrepreneur, CEO, owner of this amazing, meal company that you had? And I don't want to steal any of your thunder, but I want you to kind of give people a backstory of how you came to where you are now.
Yeah. Thanks, man, by the way. But no, I mean, first of all, I like to consider myself to still be regular Jared. So I don't know that much has changed about me necessarily, but no, I mean, entrepreneurship has probably been something like ingrained in my DNA since I was old enough to make decisions for myself. I think a lot of great entrepreneurs maybe aren't always like that, but for me, it was, I've been trying to sell things and make a business out of things since I was probably 11 years old. So, I mean, just to give you like a short, setup for my story. I mean, we were raised pretty low income, right? We were pretty poor, and I could easily recognize that other people had more than us. So being, the slightly poorer kid in a low income school, I just kind of had to find ways to match up with everybody else. So one of the things I did when I was young is we would stop at the store and I would use maybe like $3 or $4 to buy a bag of candy and then go to class and sell candy throughout the whole day and turn $3 into maybe $15 throughout that day. And
I love it. I love this guy.
Because for me, it was all, I thought short term back then. I was 11, but, I wanted to be able to afford 2 slices of pizza and a Mountain Dew at lunch. You know what I mean? So when you have free lunch, you have to make a way. And so that's kind of how it started with me, man. I mean, obviously, things have changed in how I generate revenue. But my mindset has always been on, how can I turn something into a little bit more every day? And so that's when it all started. I mean, but kind of into my adult years, when I was 18, I went to college and I was a business major in the beginning because I always knew I wanted to do something in business. I ended up in the fitness industry. I got a job doing gym sales And within a year, I was a sales manager. And I went from there to be a GM about a year later because a large corporate health club chain had bought our smaller franchise gym. And I traveled to North Florida to be a GM for LA Fitness. And a couple years later decided to leave and kind of fell into the opportunity to start SuperFit Foods. And God had kind of set me up for where we are today over the past, 7 or 8 years of learning about nutrition and learning about managing people, leadership, volume sales, customer service, all those components that I learned from different franchise stores, the large corporate chains, kind of made SuperFit Foods a lot easier for me than most people think.
Awesome. Yo, go ahead, Eddie. I know you're ready to go, Eddie. Go ahead.
I'm chopping the bit. I'm blown away because your story, it resonates to me, man. I'm tired of saying this on shows, but everything you're saying, I can relate to. I was a Jamaican immigrant, absolutely dead broke, poor. My mom would not pay for nice sneakers, going to Payless. Literally remember buying the Attack Force, wearing my jeans rolled over my shoes so nobody would notice it. And having that chip on your shoulder always helped me. And that's how I got to health and fitness, is because I was being bullied. I was the herb. Most kids don't even know that word anymore. But
wow.
Yeah, but I forgot that word, right? I was I needed to do something to stand out. Unfortunately, I wasn't selling candy. I wasn't as smart as Jared. But kids like you and you're making money. But it's so everything you're saying hits home for me. And the fact that you went to college and you majored in business, it resonates. And that gets me passionate. Obviously, I turned corporate America now into fighting as a professional athlete. So health and fitness and meals is something that I have to live by. That is now, my life. And I love the fact that you're doing something that, if you take a look at yourself, you're passionate about it. You are the product, you're healthy, you're fit. And most people don't go that route of passion. If you can tell our listeners, how did you transition from, and kind of the mindset part of it, because I'm a big mindset guy. I think fitness is mindset. How did your mindset shift from saying, hey, I got this comfortable job where they probably pay me salary plus commission, I'm comfortable, to becoming a wolf, going out there hunting for yourself, building your own company? What was the mindset switch for you, and how did it kind of take place?
That's a question I ask myself all the time. But so I guess the most sense I can make out of it is just, the fact that growing up, we never were comfortable, right? We lived in a level of uncertainty and uncomfortability, just kind of moving from place to place and never really having much of our own. So when I got into, I guess, corporate America, or got into a position where I'm making a good amount of money and I'm doing a good job of managing these health clubs, hitting our sales goals, I was never truly comfortable. So I realized, I was blessed to realize, I guess at a young age, that money didn't make me happy. And so I always knew that there was more, or that I was made for more, or that I could make a bigger impact somewhere else. And so I don't know, man, I guess what kind of led me to doing what I do now is just the fact that it really wasn't that comfortable for me to sit at a desk. And so there wasn't really a comfort zone there. Money didn't make me comfortable. Hitting our sales goals didn't make me comfortable. And so I'm a type of person that I really can't spend too long in a place that I don't want to be. I guess it's maybe my anxious mentality. So I begin to look for an out, right? And I like to say, especially to my married friends, when you have options, you should take advantage of them, right? So buy new cars, get new jobs, stuff like that. Yeah. And so, because we don't always have options later on in life. So I just decided to start looking around, and I started interviewing at other health clubs and for potentially more money, bigger gyms, nicer cities. And I realized that wasn't what I wanted either. So I just decided okay, if a bigger job with more money doesn't make me happy, then maybe it's not in the health club management field. And so, so that's what kind of led me to leave, was that, if I'm going to be uncomfortable here, I might as well be uncomfortable somewhere else and see if it pans out for me. So
I love that. Stepping out of your comfort zone. It's so powerful. Sorry, Yoko, I'm going to jump out of your way.
Some things you just said really reached out to me, and I just want the audience to really, really understand this. If you're in a place in your life where you're uncomfortable, situation where you're uncomfortable. Don't stay there too long. Make the decision to make the change, to take action. And that's what I'm hearing. It's just resonating from your conversation. You're the type of person and I'm the type of person, and Eddie's the type of person. We don't stay in a place where we're uncomfortable too long. And when you move from those particular places, that's the only way that you can actually grow, you can progress, and you can develop. And I think, if we had to title the name of this podcast, because we always do this when we're talking, this is all about turning something into a little bit more. That really stuck out to me when you said that. Because, that's what it's really all about. We're talking about personal development. That's what personal development is, turning something into a little bit more, whether it's your health, whether it's leadership skills, whether it's, how you manage finances, whatever you're talking about, mindset, all these things. It's always a little bit more that you could possibly be doing. So I love that. And I love that you added that piece. And you know how I am, Eddie. I really think we can actually focus on that a little bit more. But tell us a little bit more about SuperFit Foods, man. What are you guys doing in your area, nationally? How is this benefiting the lives of so many people, as I know it is? Let's talk about that a little bit.
Definitely, man. I'd love to. So SuperFit Foods is a one-of-a-kind, subscription-based, fully customizable meal prep company. And that's a mouthful, but it's worth it. And so what makes us special is that we allow our clients to fully customize their orders based off their preferences, allergies, whatever diet trend they're jumping on. We accommodate all of it. So we don't label ourselves as a paleo meal prep company, a vegan meal prep company, whatever it may be. We label ourselves as a fully customizable meal prep company. That's
awesome.
Because we accommodate all those diet trends and or food allergies or whatever. So we started in May of 2015 in Lakeland, Florida, which is where I'm from. And that's a smaller city in between Tampa and Orlando for those of you that don't know. But and then in November, I moved back up to Jacksonville. And then the following February 2016, we expanded into Jacksonville by utilizing kind of this revelation I had of pickup spots. So we have now expanded into 25 pickup spots throughout Central and North Florida. And what that is we'll partner up with like-minded small business owners and put a commercial refrigerator in their store and then launch that as a pickup location. So we're we're in a couple CrossFit gyms. That's where we started. Like our mindset was, let's put fridges in gyms. And then it really began to expand. And now we're in like running shoe stores. We're in a co-work space. We're in cryotherapy clinics. So it really like it all goes back to just like-minded small business owners. And so people that see the benefit of having a food element in their store, that way when people go online and order, they can choose, Recovery Zone, Riverside, Jacksonville as their pickup spot because they live within that 3 to 5 mile range they can pick up. And so we drop off.
I think that's genius. That is, Jared, that is, when I say genius, I mean
absolutely genius, man.
Like absolutely genius, especially because you figure when people are help, like when I was in corporate America, I ballooned up to over 300 pounds. I wish I would have had something like that sitting in my bank or sitting across the street where I could just go and pick it up. And that's phenomenal because most people don't realize is that when you're in corporate America, that's where you get the most unhealthy because you're taking care of clients, you're doing all these things, you're running, and you're figuring about the most important thing, which is your health. I love that. And you said a couple of things that resonated with me. Lakeland, Florida. The second you said that, I think about Friday Night Lights with the huge game and everything. Like the huge game. The boss is coming to cut me off. So literally, I love everything that you said. And where did you kind of get that idea? Because you're not in the norm. That's like completely different when you think about like the food industries and the delivery services. I'm not even gonna say any of those names because it's all about SuperFit. So where did you how did you pick up that delivery theory?
Well, like I said, I moved back to Jacksonville in November of 2015, about 7 months after starting the business. I sort of, to be honest, I took a huge risk for a relationship that I was in. And so I came back to Jacksonville and I was managing and running the company, from my house, from Starbucks, whatever, because we were small enough to do that. I've never been a cook. So I never worked personally in the kitchen. We've got a staff of culinary artists and meal prep masterminds that work around the clock in there. So I've ran the business, I've built it, I did the sales and the marketing and all that fun stuff. So I moved away, and from November to February, I began training at a couple personal training studios, and I was training parts business. I was up at 4 a.m, training 445 classes at a small franchise training gym here in Jacksonville. And so in January of 2016, that relationship was on and off. So it wasn't the most important thing to me at the time. And I'm bouncing off all these ideas of how do I bring SuperFit Foods to Jacksonville? And there was a demand for it because I have a pretty good reputation in terms of like the fitness market out here, just from managing health clubs and being a trainer, and obviously trying to maintain healthy relationships in the community and stuff like that. So people are reaching out like, hey, if SuperFit was here, we'd sign up, we'd leave the company ABC for yours, because there was a couple competitors out here. And so I'm like, oh man, these people really want it. We could obviously grow this business out here in the North Florida market. How do I do it? And so I even visited like a couple small restaurants and asked what they would charge to make my meals and to relabel it. I didn't like the idea, but I was just trying to move, and to put my thoughts into action. So that never really like worked for me, that idea of having somebody else make our meals and just put the SuperFit label on it. So I didn't know what I was going to do. And then one morning I'm training the 4:45 a.m. class at a gym out here. And it's a group personal training studio. So try to imagine like a CrossFit type setting. And I'm just, I'm shouting cues and, technique form stuff. I'm going around, I'm helping people out. And I just remember having my clipboard in my hand and looking across the room and thinking like, because sometimes when you're just grinding, like those early morning workouts, you get these thoughts, right? So I look across the room and I see like that Pepsi Cola fridge with all the Dasani waters in it. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking like, what would it cost me just to bring meals from Lakeland to here and put them in that fridge? And so I did the math. I'm pretty good at math. So I imagine, at the time we'll say our meal cost is $4 per meal. Like that's what it costs me to make them. And gas from Lakeland to Jax is $50. And I could pay a guy $100 to do it because that would be an 8-hour day, make $12.50 to drive around for 8 hours. So that's 150 plus X plus Y. And I'm like, I think it was like $260 was what it would cost to bring meals out here. And so I thought, okay, to cover that, I would need 25 people to sign up to cover the margins. That way I break even on day one. So I'm like, so that morning while I'm training, I'm doing the math and I thought, okay. And so that the next day I went on our Facebook page and our Instagram page and onto my personal pages, and I just posted SuperFit Foods is pre-sailing in Jacksonville, and we'll launch February, I think 21st, but the launch date is due to hitting 25 or more clients. So because I'm from the fitness industry, and anytime you open a gym the right way, you run a pre-sale process. That way, the minute you open, you've got a stream of revenue. You've got an EFT base built. That way you can begin to pay the bills. So we did that, and we hit 25 clients within 2 weeks. And these people were pre-signed up. They didn't get billed yet. They were going to get billed the Friday before our actual launch date. So that worked. And I think it was February 20th or 21st that we launched in Jacksonville. And since then I don't want to say it's been smooth sailing, but we've been able to grow, obviously 10 or 12 times the size since February of 2016. Awesome. So we expanded into different pickup spots. Different people began to reach out and say, what does it take to put a fridge in my store? And so now, fast forward to end of March 2018, we're at 25 pickup spots. We started shipping the first of this month, so now we're available throughout the continental U.S. We do priority overnight shipping throughout the United States as well.
Wow. So this is not just a Florida thing. You're talking about every state in the United States now.
As of this month, yeah.
Wow, congratulations, man. That is big league.
Thanks, man.
I love it. Jared, let me tell you something. I love everything that you're saying because I think I'm crazy, but every time I'm running on the treadmill in the morning time, I have the best thoughts. It must be the endorphins that's flying, and the fact that you were literally in your class yelling at combos, yelling out things, and you just look over, and it's like, if that doesn't resonate to our listeners, Don't make excuses. I'd like to say make moves before you're even ready. Like everything you're saying is phenomenal and spot on. Like you don't even realize it, but you're helping the next up and coming entrepreneur, you know, take a step. Because most people are afraid to start and they're always thinking about what if. I feel like you just put the action into place and you said, you know what, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm going to make it happen and figure it out. Jackson wants to be a SuperFit, bro. This guy.
Right. He's like, give it to me. I'm hungry, man. But you know what I really love everything that you're saying, but really stands out to me is like, I have an intolerance to gluten. And sometimes it's very difficult to find particular food matchups. So I make a lot of my own food. And I think it's cool for those that do have allergies, whether it's a dairy allergy, a wheat allergy, whatever the case may be. Now they can actually have a resource where they can custom design their meals. And now, you know, thankfully you're exposing this and you're adding this to the United States to where they actually have a resource they can go to and say, hey, now I can rest at ease. I don't have to go to these other programs and have to sift through anything or pick this out that I don't like. I can actually have something custom designed for my particular preference, my particular allergy. I think that is huge. So I just wanted to kind of stress that because I think the audience really needs to understand what you just said. That is huge, and I can definitely see your company growing.
I want to add to this too, man, because as I'm sitting here listening to you, Jared, the thing that I love the most, I don't think people realize what really fitness is. Fitness is not about making your body look great. That's almost like the end result. But I feel like it starts from the mind up. Because when I tell people I was over 300 pounds, they look at me like there's no way in the planet. But it started in corporate America for me. Like I remember that I was spending money on breakfast, lunch, dinner, taking clients out. And I was always an athlete. In college, I played Division I football. I would never see that image happen to me, but it did happen because I didn't have a SuperFit Foods in my location. So I think it's huge that people realize that it's mental as well as physical. And that's why Jackson ruined a great soundbite. Thank God we got edited. But I am super excited about SuperFit because of that very reason. Because I lived it. I lived it and I experienced it firsthand. So it's huge. Would you zip it? This guy's taking over the podcast. Nuts. He wants to get in. But like honestly, I am like it does blown away. All right, you come in so you don't ruin anything else. But let me say that again so that Calvin can fix it. Thank God we got a good audio IT guy. but like it's super important for people in corporate America, not just athletes. I feel like people don't realize that the everyday business person can win even more than like the athlete. Because people always see athletes, they're fit, they're in shape, and they're wondering how. Well, I don't have those resources. I can't get that, but they can.
Yeah, and our target audience, to be honest with you, well, you know, a lot of times like marketing strategists and advertising people will ask, like, what's your target demographic? Just to clarify, we didn't start this business with a target demographic. We want to help anybody that's hungry. But, you know, athletes, bodybuilders, you know, performance specialists, those people typically are empowered and educated enough to cook for themselves. We'd love to cook for them. If they want to order, great. We want to help them. But that's not really our target audience. We want to help the people that have no clue what they're doing, that are eating out at fast food chains under the impression that they're eating from a healthy menu when they're really not. You know, those are the people that we really want to help. And so, you know, like I guess corporate America would really be our target audience because those are the people that are being sold so much by, you know, these large chains, and I'm not going to name anybody, but you know, when they come out with their calorie counts on their dashboard of the menu, or when they come out with a salad that nobody buys, like they're being, you know, misled by those companies. So we want to just kind of slowly but surely inch our way into those marketplaces so that people that need food on the go can just order it and pick it up from us, and then know that they're eating healthy food that's gonna, you know, and it's like you said, fitness is not so much about the way that you look, it's about the way that you perform in your life, in your relationships, in your workplace. So I'm huge on like brain health and just increasing your mental capacity for more, right? So, and I think so much of that has to do with healthy sleep, which that's not what my profession is, and then healthy food. And our brain is controlled by the nutrients that we feed it, right? So when we're insufficient of carbohydrates, we're not going to have the right sugar levels to make the right decisions in the workplace, in our relationships, in our everyday conversations. And so it goes back to like, man, you could be a lot cooler if you ate healthy, right? Like your friends might like you more. You might make more sales. You might get more girls. You might, it just so many things that if you just ate healthier, not only would you look good, but you'd be better in every asset of your life, you know? So.
And you'd feel better. You'd feel better.
That is so many huge fire, like that's the straight fire bullets, guns. I think you named this podcast 15 times. I love it. I love it. There's so many different punchlines. And that's why I really don't think people understand fitness until they actually get into fitness. And the fact that you started without a target demographic, I think is genius, because so many times I think people don't even know who their demographic is and they end up marketing to the wrong people. You let the numbers speak for itself. And that's what's even better about this. Now, I got to ask this question because it's burning. Like, I don't think people understand. I'm not going to steal your answer, because I kind of have an idea of it. How did you think that fitness helped you become this savvy businessman? Because a lot of times people have the wrong perception about athletes, people in the fitness world. They feel like we're like dumb jocks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, and this is your podcast, so I apologize. I don't want to over spiritualize things, but I'm a big believer.
Take it and run with it, Jared. This is your platform. It might be our podcast, but this is your platform. We want you to have this platform to tell the world and get it out there. So whatever it is, you rock with it.
Yeah. And so, you know, I'm a big believer that God is a very big strategist, and like all the different components of my life leading up to now have prepared me for what I'm doing now. And I think everybody else is the same if they would just open their eyes, but that's a whole nother message. So for me, fitness, like you said, a lot of people look at us like jocks, or for me, I have a full sleeve. I'm pretty big. I've got a bodybuilder's build. So typically when I have conversations, people think I'm stupid until they tell me, right? Which is whatever, doesn't bother me. But so yeah, we do get this bad rap because we're fitness people, right? But I wouldn't be like you said, savvy business person without the fitness background that I have. And because of that, so, you know, early on I began to work out because I just wanted to look better, right? So I didn't have the intentions of, let me empower myself to be this great business person in the fitness industry. It simply started with that one goal of, you know, I'm 18, 19, I want to look better for the girls. And so it did start with the wrong intentions, but because of that, I was able to become educated in exercise science, because I'm intrigued by how much my body could change by small tweaks in my program design, small tweaks in my diet, right? So the more knowledge that I accumulated, the better I became physically, right? Because that was my goal in the short term. Let me look better physically. And so as I began to change and create my own sort of transformation over time, you physically become stronger, right? And it's like, this is really cool. Being stronger makes you more capable of doing certain things. And so it just went from that to, I'd love to make a profession out of this because I'm so passionate about the changes I'm making in my life. I've gained so much confidence, right? Because as a kid, I was pretty likable because I was pretty funny, I guess. But I was always smaller than everyone else. Always, like I mentioned earlier, you know, much less fortunate financially than most people. I didn't consider myself to be a great looking kid. And so I just began to be confident for the first time in my life once I started to develop physically. And so in gaining that confidence, I thought, you know, I would love to make a profession out of helping other people do this too. And because of that, I got a job in the gym. And because I was so passionate about what I did, I sold more memberships than everybody else. And because I was so passionate about selling memberships, I began to educate myself on building the book of business that it takes to have residual income from being good at what I'm doing in this health club space. And so I'm always in the pursuit of knowledge, but it all started with that sort of vain desire to look better. And because of that, I reached a cap in how I sold and how I trained. So then I thought, well, how do I get better now? And it was, well, I don't know much about nutrition. So then I went on to learn more about nutrition, and I was encouraged to do my first bodybuilding show, when I was 21. And in doing a 12 to 15 week prep, again, with the goal of just getting a trophy and looking as good possible that I could, I learned, holy crap, like I didn't know a thing about nutrition until I did my first bodybuilding show, and how all these changes in my diet created such a change, not only in my body, but in my workouts. I'm sleeping better. I'm responding better to stress. I don't need stimulants like energy drinks, coffee as much. I don't need, to wake up early and go to sleep late to be successful. Like I can get a good, healthy amount of sleep and perform throughout my normal work day much better than in the past because of my diet. And so all those things begin to build upon themselves. And like I said, God's a strategist. So while he's working, I'm just doing my thing and realizing later on that, holy crap, like this nutrition education that I got, I went on to get a nutrition specialization because I was so passionate about it. And so as I began to get educated, and then because I'm passionate about people, I got a behavioral change specialization because I love to manage results. And I think a lot of that has to do with our conversations with our clients. So I just, like, all those little pieces began to be put in place. And then we had the opportunity to start a meal prep company in a small city, perfect the model and work on it and create something a little bit different than what everybody else is doing. And then, like I said, I just kind of was led into Jacksonville and had that eureka revelation moment. And now I look back and I'm like, oh, it's no wonder that I'm pretty good at a few of these things. I've been learning it for a long time.
Right.
I don't even know where to start all that. But the passion, I love. The fact that you said it best, but I even really I didn't even realize you said it, but your experiences made your certifications, made you a specialist. Your experience certifies you. Your experience certifies you. Exactly. Like, you said so many amazing things, and I love it because, I feel like you're talking to me because being a professional athlete, I did it wrong for so long. I was getting away because I was athletically gifted and I was just fortunate. When you're doing it the wrong way, you don't realize it's the wrong way because you have success. And then I started, because I lose weight for a living. I changed my diet. I didn't change any of my exercise. I literally changed my diet and it revolutionized everything about me. Like, I was at a point I wanted to retire because I was cutting 30, 40, 50 pounds in 2-3 a week period, and it was just the wrong way to do it. Yeah. I educated myself through life experiences. So everything you're saying is flat. It's amazing. People really need to find you, get to you. Please tell everybody, all our listeners, where can they connect with you? Because I think you got a lot of knowledge that has to be shared.
Man, I'm really big on Facebook and Instagram. So my Facebook is simply Jared Graybiel, JaredGray, B as in boy, EAL. My Instagram is Jared Axel Graybiel. Fun fact, my middle name is really Axel after Axl Rose.
That's awesome. I like it. You're a rock star.
My parents are pretty interesting people. So that's my Instagram. And then, you can find me on LinkedIn and Twitter. I'm not super active on those platforms. I will be whenever they become more popular or relevant to what I do. But I'm really big on Facebook and Instagram. And I'd like to think that I put out pretty good content. So definitely jump on there and find me.
Awesome. So we cannot let you go without doing this. All right. So this is the big surprise. So I'm a big firm believer. Eddie's a firm believer in leaving people with applicable things that they can start to do right now. I mean, that's one part of the message on this show. So do us the honor of giving everybody listening, including us ourselves, a challenge. So we want you to leave us with a challenge, something that we can do right away that's going to add some benefit to our lives, possibly transform somebody's life that's listening now. So it is on you, Jared. What is the challenge of today's show?
Man, I'm actually really glad you asked, because I've been doing this practice for a little while. I'm pretty OCD about, I have this list of things that I do every single day to consider my day to be successful, et cetera, et cetera. But one of the things that I do that I think has contributed so much to where I am and the decisions that I make is I simply ask myself every day. I sit down and get some alone time for maybe 5 to 10 minutes. It doesn't take long. I have it written down in my iPhone notes, and I read to myself, where do I want to be in 10 years? And so I just picture it like to the T. Like I literally picture what my facial hair will look like, what my wife will look like. Do I have kids? Am I in a big house, a small house? Does it matter to me? Am I healthy? Right? So what am I doing for work? So I just picture like, what am I doing in 10 years? Like, what does a day in the life of me look like in 10 years? Right? So I picture that. And then I ask myself, what decisions do I need to make today? And what decisions do I need to not make today in order to get there? So I would just challenge everybody to do that, because it can be so powerful what you decide not to do the rest of that day, what relationships you decide not to have, or what connections you decide that you need to make that day in order to get there, what health decisions you need to make to look the way you want to in 10 years, whether it's maintenance or making a big change. So I would challenge everybody to do that, man. Like really, really, really picture what your life looks like in 10 years, not just yourself, but like your family, your friends, where you live, what you're doing for a living, and then make the decision today that you need to in order to get there.
All right, so the coaching me is just burning.
I love it.
It's just burning. So
I love it.
If you did not understand what he said, audience, what he's saying is take 5 to 10 minutes every single day. I preach visualization. I teach a lot of people, you have to be able to see it, touch it, smell it, taste it, all those things. So visualize where you want to be in 10 years. Think about who you're with. Think of who you're surrounding yourself with. Even if you want to get down to the car you're driving, the color suit you have on, really, really visualize it. And then I love what he said is ask yourself the questions. Who do I need to connect to or disconnect from to get me to where I need to be? What are some of the steps that I need to take? Jarrett, you have been absolutely amazing. So many value bombs have been dropped here today. We covered nutrition, we covered leadership, we covered entrepreneurship, and then you gave us a little bit of coaching in the life coaching and the personal development coaching aspect. I mean, you gave us a lot, man. I mean, you gave us a lot. So I am so, so glad you decided to join us on the show today. Eddie, do you have any last words?
I'm speechless, and it's hard for me to be speechless. Jared, awesome job, man. I'm super excited. Like, I learned a lot today, and you got a future in motivational speaking, whether you realize it or not. Like, awesome, bro. Like literally the platform that you're gonna touch, shape, and change lives is endless. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, man.
All right, that's it, listeners. You had it here. Make sure you tune in next week and every week following. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the Art of Winning show. Love you guys. Have a blessed day, and salute.
All right, and make sure you guys go follow Jarrett. He is the man.
Yes, go follow Jared. Awesome. Have a great day.